This video is brought to you by my generous backers over on Patreon. If you'd like to support the channel and get cool perks like access to the Discord, seeing the videos a week before anyone else, or an entire video dedication, then feel free to check out my Patreon. The link's in the description below. This video is dedicated to Deja Shade. A huge shout out to Deja Shade for supporting the channel. Nekusar the Mindrazer versus Gallia of the Endless Dance, Queen Marchesa, and Bladewing the Risen. That's a pretty good hand. I would like this to be a land, but yeah, can't really complain about that hand. We'll keep it. Oh, and I'm just noticing that GoGo has had to mulligan down to 4. Hopefully we'll be able to see some stuff from Gallia this game. They'll draw into a 5th card at least, and yeah, they should be able to get some card draw going with Gallia. Especially if they manage to take the monarchy away from Queen Marchesa. Alright, Esteem Vents is a good card to play on turn 1. We'll get that down and pass the turn. Probably going for Drowned Catacomb into a Signet next turn. A turn 1 Mana Crypt from Bladewing the Risen. And then going for an Ash Barrens, which gets them into a swamp for next turn. Our Boreal Grazer is a 0/3 with reach. When it enters, put a land from hand onto the battlefield tapped. So down to 2 cards they go, but they can get down their Gallia next turn. And a Talisman over here for Cranial. Okay, unfortunately we've got 3 wheels in hand, which is not something that we want to be getting into really. We want to wheel into more wheels. But anyway, we'll get down the Signet and yeah, it's Polluted Delta into another Signet next turn, and we can probably hold up Mana Drain, I think. And then we'll just counter something for the sake of getting the extra mana and slowing down an opponent a little bit, and that should help us get down our Nekusar. Further for the Dragon player, and down comes Queen Marchesa. So that obviously introduces the monarchy. Alright, and swinging in with it, going straight in at Outlaw. We've literally just played a game against this Bladewing the Risen deck, so we know how potent it is, especially with fast mana in play. But it looks as though Gallia is going to get the monarchy next turn. Or maybe not. Gilded Goose. Alright, yeah, they do have a land to make, so they'll likely get down their Gallia here. Or not. Don't know what the plan was there. They're obviously holding up mana for something. Very surprised they didn't go for their commander to grab the monarchy. Anyway, we're going to go Volcanic Island into the Signet, and like I said, we'll hold up Mana Drain. And already, on turn 3, into a dragon. A nesting dragon with haste, no less. So, most likely swinging in at the Monarchy player to get the card draw off there. Yeah, they're going to take that away from them. So Queen Marchesa will get an Assassin token at the beginning of their turn. I don't know if I've been over it actually. Outlaw is a patron. We've got 3 patrons today playing the Bladewing deck. Cranial is on Queen Marchesa, and then Gallia being played by GoGo. Oh, Chandra Torch of Defiance. I really don't think we can allow that. So we're definitely going to counter there. And then swinging in at us for punishment, the Death Toucher goes in at the Dragon player. So they'll get the monarchy back for another card draw. And there we go, Gallia coming down this time, as well as a Scrib Sprites. And let's see where they swing in. Just going in at us with the Gallia of the Endless Dance. Okay, Snap Mage onto Mana Drain might actually be worth holding up. Let's see, we're going to get 4 mana here anyway, so we definitely go in for Gilded Lotus. Then it's 3, 4 and 5. Yeah, do we go in for... I think we just go Snap Mage into Mana Drain again. Ready to counter something. Ready to counter a big dragon specifically. And then we can go Nekusar into Wheel of Fortune next turn. Or maybe even Nekusar into Molten Psyche, although we don't draw a full grip with this. No, it just deals damage with Metalcraft, which is good, but I'd rather refill my hand. Now a Dragon Shadow, what is that? It has Fear and +1 to its power. When a creature with CMC 6 or greater enters, you can return it from graveyard to the battlefield. Alright, so pretty much just makes it unblockable in most instances. We don't have any flyers in this deck anyway, so we'll allow that. Then 6 damage going in at the Queen Marchesa player. Don't think Gallia's being properly respected here, although Queen Marchesa does have a grip of 7 in hand, as does Gallia. You have to expect that everyone's going to have a full grip at some point against a Nekusar player, though. But it might be that they were just playing to get the monarchy back. So they will draw a card, go up to 5 at the end of the turn with 4 mana held up. And it's more assassins from Queen Marchesa. Now, I don't want to counter anything that Cranial does here, to be honest. But it all depends on the on the spells that he casts. If he does something that's really powerful, Loyal Apprentice, that's a good one. But we'll allow it, because we're getting into the board wipe section of the game now, I think, anyway. Queen Marchesa goes in at Outlaw, as does the 2-2. Oh, in fact, everything turns sideways at Outlaw, leaving a Thopter back. So those two just going at it with each other, and Go-Go continuing to be ignored, and blocking with a 2-2 Dragon Egg. The monarchy shifts yet again, and that leaves Outlaw with a hatched baby dragon. Now, our opponents might be looking over at us, worrying that we've got Cyclonic Rift mana held up, which we do, but Cyclonic Rift has actually been banned in our play group. It was voted for by the patrons to be banned, and we kept the fast mana. I need to write up the ban list yet, but that is something that you need to be wary of as you watch. Okay, going to discard a card at random and draw 2. And they get rid of Kari Zev, that's a good one to see the back of. Who are they swinging in at? Okay, they're swinging everything in at us, so it seems like it's us two versus each other, and then these two versus each other. So we go down to 31, and I'm hoping that there's a spell cast here. Yeah, it's Goblin Instigator. I'm going to go for an additional creature into play here with Snap Mage, and then we'll just counter the Goblin Instigator with Mana Drain just for the sake of it. We're going to end up discarding our Snap Mage to the wheel anyway. Then a Copperhorn Scout. Untap each other creature you control when it attacks. And then it's back round to our turn. So let's see if we can... Oh, a Locust God. We're just finding things that are really, really difficult to discard. Why don't we try Locust God? We'll see if our opponent's got any removal, because there is removal mana held up over here. Let's see if we can make Locust God stick and go in for Wheel of Fortune. So surprisingly, we're actually the only blue player at the table this time. It's quite a regular occurrence that patrons tend to bring blue to the table, but we're the only ones going, and that's exactly why I held up the black mana. Just in case we got ourselves into a Vampiric Tutor. So we've got some blockers now at least. And I am going to take the monarchy away here. We'll have to take a couple of insects in. Actually, do we really need to bother doing that? Yeah, let's just get down the tapped Blood Crypt, and we'll allow our opponent over here to keep the monarchy. Because we're going to lose life from the Vampiric Tutor as it is. We really don't need a bunch of creatures swinging in at us as well. A sneak attack coming down from the dragon player now, so they could lay on a whole bunch of damage out of nowhere here. Going straight in for an activation on their sneak attack. Oh, and it's Bogarden Hellkite. 5 damage divided as you choose amongst any number of targets. 4 of it will be eaten by the Locust God, I have no doubt. I'd probably go 4 on there and 1 on here, to be honest, because it's going to put a bunch of Thopters in their way. Alright, instead going on to the Copperhorn Scout. I don't see why they're worried about a Copperhorn Scout, but fair enough. And we get the Locust God back into our hand at the beginning of the end step. Then continuing to hammer away at the Mardu player. Let's see what they go for in response. They are cycling a Canyon Slough. And they're going to block the 6-4 with a 1-1 Thopter and take hit for 5, 6 and 7. And this is the problem when you introduce the Monarchy into the game. You've got to be careful with whether or not you actually bother to take it back from your opponent, because you're just going to draw a bunch of attacks your way. We get the Locust God back into our hand. Sneak Attack will get rid of this. And it's a card draw for Outlaw, thanks to the Monarchy. And yeah, just battling between the Monarchy. I mean, it just makes our life easier. Go sat over there doing not a whole lot of anything. They've got a full grip of cards in hand now, so they might be able to enter the red zone fray. But these two are just hitting it back and forth. And then a Blasphemous Act. Yeah, like I said, we're at the board wipe section of the game now. Really don't mind seeing that. It just buys us even more time, which is what we want in a Grixis deck. Takes out a Dragon Egg, which will hatch another baby dragon. And then a Dockside Extortionist is going to be a good amount of mana. They get 7 treasure tokens from that. Queen Marchesa coming down again, cracking pretty much all the treasure tokens to do that, so I'm assuming that they've got things to do with their lands during our turn, or during everyone else's turn. Alright, Stoneforge Mystic, so they're not done yet, and with that they went for Champion's Helm. So over the course of a game they can get some commander damage off with Queen Marchesa if they wanted to, but not going for the Champion's Helm, instead going for Lightning Greaves, which goes on to Queen Marchesa. Voyaging Satyr for the Gruul player. Very few lands in play, unfortunately. Although it's turn 6 and he's got 5 lands, so actually not that far behind. A lot has happened in the early game of this one. Squee the Immortal, you may cast it from exile. And then at the end of the turn, we are going in for Underworld Dreams, is it called? The 5 black enchantment. And we're going to play that and Forced Fruition, and hopefully we can take some people down a hell of a lot of life. Yeah, Underworld Dreams is what we want. We can get that out easily enough with Gilded Lotus. So we play the island. Can we get down? Well, we definitely want Underworld Dreams. I don't know if we can go Thran Dynamo and Forced Fruition yet. I think we can. Yes, we can. We just need to make sure that we hold up enough blue. So we get down Thran Dynamo, then go in for Forced Fruition, so we manage to accelerate our mana as well as set up some draw pain for our opponents, which I'm hoping they're going to have the greatest difficulty dealing with. Mardu and Gruul shouldn't have much trouble getting rid of Forced Fruition, but it all depends on how much removal they've got in hand. I'm just hoping we don't see a bunch of hasty dragons coming down from this sneak attack, but we'll soon find out. It could be that we get taken out this turn. Each player discards a card. Well, we don't have Megrim in play at least. This thing doesn't come into our hand unless it dies, does it? Yeah, it has to die, so I think we get rid of Spiteful Visions here because I think our life total is going to deplete quite a bit here. Discarding a card to Rix Mardi, by the way. So there might not be too much card draw going on here if they're just going for activations of permanents. Sneak Attack is an activation and does not count as a spell being cast. What we're trying to do, by the way, is have our opponents cast spells and draw 7 cards per spell they cast. And that's 7 damage to them from Underworld Dreams every time they draw that many. Alright, here we go. Casting a Necromancy. So they'll get a dragon out of the bin. Yeah, they've got some good stuff. They might be able to pile on a whole heap of damage to us. Maybe Bogarden Hellkite. That's going to be 10 damage alone. And then Sneak Attack something in as well. Anyway, we'll soon find out. Sneak Attack in response to their own Necromancy. Gets them into Skitherix, which I don't think they can get the Infect damage off straight away. But it does take life off us as well. Maybe they've got some kind of buff or double strike enabler, something like that. And yeah, they are going on to the Bugden Hellkite, so that is going to be 5 damage straight onto us, I would think. Piling 5 damage onto us from Bugden Hellkite. The Dragon Shadow comes back. I don't think they have to pay for it. So that makes this thing a 6/5 with Fear and Haste. So we take 10 here, assuming that they both come in at us. Alright, surprisingly not swinging both in at us, going back in at Cranial to get more card draw, as if they need more. And then Cranial, yeah, they're just playing straight into our hand here with them fighting over the Monarchy. Go for the throw onto the Bugden Hellkite. I mean, it was the difference between keeping a go for the throw in hand and taking 6 damage, or removing go from the throw from your hand and taking 7 from Force Fruition. At least they draw cards this way, which might have been their aim there. Maybe they were perfectly willing to take the damage on this one. Sneak Attack gets rid of the Skitherix. There might be, I don't know, maybe some kind of combo with that they can drag it out of the graveyard with, maybe Double Strike or something like that. Now Nahiri, the Harbinger, coming down. They're going to go down to 4 now, aren't they? They can use this to exile a target enchantment though, which probably goes on the Force Fruition. Nope, going on Underworld Dream, surprisingly. That's not the right target in my opinion, because we haven't even played our commander yet. And then the Queen Marchesa coming in at us, as it probably should. Then going in for a Mind Stone as well, to get a free 7 cards into hand. They might as well do that before they have to take some pain to Maegrim or Nekusar or any kind of draw pain. Getting rid of a heap of lands. I don't think they really got rid of anything else there. Stranglehold, Solemn, Swiftfoot Boot, so there's Cataclysm as well, Decree of Pain. Yeah, so they did get rid of some non-land stuff. Gallia coming straight back down into play, and Skyfire Phoenix. I think that comes straight back into play as well. Yeah, so that's a 3/3 flyer with haste. Actually a pretty good card in an aggro deck, Skyfire Phoenix. And the 3/3 is going in at Nahiri. I would actually leave Nahiri alone, to be honest, because Nahiri might want to get rid of Force Fruition or the Sneak Attack. I mean, I'd get rid of this personally, but yeah, I'd actually leave Nahiri alone here. And then we've got a 2/1 coming in at us, and Gallia is coming in at us as well, so we go down by 4. And they are crafting themselves a hand as well. They've got Sir Farron, Careless Celebrant, Treetop Scout, and a Mountain in the bin. Incendiary Command. That's a wheel. Yeah, that's a wheel, and it's 2 damage to each creature. Which could actually be of some use to us, couldn't it? So, yeah, why don't we go Maegrim and Incendiary Command? How much mana do we have, actually? We've got enough for our Commander, Maegrim, and Incendiary Command, which I think we have to go for. So we go Nekusar, first of all. And someone's going for a Vamp Tutor in response to that, which means they're going to have to draw 7. They go down by 2 life with that as well. Nekusar hits play, and then we go in for a Maegrim. And we're going to have to forego the Locust God here, unfortunately. Really would have liked that in play. And we carefully choose to do 2 damage to each creature. And each player discards all cards in their hand and draws that many. That'll get rid of most of the creatures in play, and this should get rid of a couple of players as well. So it just leaves us to tangle with Go-Go. Cranial scooping in response to that, and hopefully Magic Online doesn't completely break on us here, because there's quite a few triggers. Yeah, it's starting to struggle. I'm just going to go slow and steady with it. Outlaw goes down to the Maegrim triggers. And then we've got Go-Go at 26. We draw into a Swiftfoot Boots. We are not out of the woods yet. Go-Go can still aggro us. But at least we've got a half-decent blocker in the way. We have not gotten rid of the 3/3 Phoenix, though. We're at 17. We really need to get into a wheel. Okay, gaining 3 life with the food token. They might as well. We just need to hope that they need to cast a bunch of creatures in order to go wide on us, which I imagine they do in a Gallia list. And the more creatures that they have to cast, the more cards they are forced to draw, and the more draw pain they take. And then they don't have an infinite hand size, so they'll have to discard some cards at the end of the turn to Megrim. So I think we've got it, but not going to count my chickens. Deciding to swing straight in with the Phoenix. Now playing an Elvish Mystic for some more mana, and they will take 7 damage from that. So they're between a rock and a hard place now. They need to get cards out of their hand before they discard them. But if they play the cards that are in their hand, then they're forced to draw, so they're going to have to get rid of... Yeah, they get rid of 7 cards here. They take 2 damage from each of the cards that they discard, which is more than enough to rid us of Gallia. So it's good gain to my opponents. Let's see what we would have drawn out of curiosity. Yeah, the Nekusar deck didn't run too well last time, and we weren't really getting into a whole lot of anything. Psychosis Crawler would have been useful to us. Yeah, but we drew into a bunch of our wheels in the early game, so had GoGo have had something like a Reclamation Sage to get rid of this, I dare say they could have gotten a win off on us there. It was just lucky that we wheeled into the Tutor and the Force Fruition. Yeah, that game just went really well for us. Much better than the last Nekusar game I played anyway. If you enjoyed this one, then leave it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with the latest videos. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.